All right, so this is Phase 7 Tuesday. So what we have for the format of this one, we're having 5 stations, straight sets, 5 rounds of 25 seconds, and then 20 seconds of rest. So straight sets, focusing a little bit more on the unilateral stuff, 25 seconds work, 25 seconds rest. Again, 5 rounds, or 4 rounds at each station.
So this one is 4 rounds. So with the unilateral ideas, we're trying to just, that way people always get confused, like what extra want to do, we try to make sure we don't have that issue. This first exercise though isn't unilateral, it's what we've been doing forever, is the banded chin-ups. So last month we did an eccentric version, this one we're going to do the full chin-up. Again, we have bands here that have all the levels of bands. Please make sure they're choosing the hardest band they can get away with to help them pull back up. So we want to keep educating every single month on how to do this. So we have new people coming in, plus old people, as they get stronger, start to see a different variation of how they can do it. So first thing, we have the band, pull from the top, get it loose so they can step down into it. One tip that I like to give on the chin-up is crossing my foot. That allows me to keep more vertical instead of my legs sticking out from underneath me. Hands facing me, right above shoulder width apart. We don't want to get them too narrow or too wide, right above the shoulders. So when we're thinking about this, we want to go all the way to the ground, pull all the way above, control back down. For most people, what they do is they try to go all the way back down, come back up again, go down, come back up. I would rather them actually take 1 rep at a time. Because we're doing 1 rep at a time, they're only going to probably get 3, 4, maybe 6 if they're moving pretty quickly in 25 seconds. But realistically, if they're doing multiple reps in a row, that means it's probably too easy for them, and they really need to get a harder band. I want them to get down to the point where if they just did 1 really good chin-up without a band, that's a huge win. So we want to continue to encourage less and less and less bands, all right? So again, in this position we're here, coming down, foot crossed, come down, and then we don't want to chin chase the top, which means that we want to use our body weight and our strength to pull all the way above and to control ourselves back down, reset, and do it again. Chin chasing again is where we come up and we're trying to really reach. Try not to get them to do that because there's a lot of stress in the upper back. Just try to come straight up, control back down. All right, again, bands, you can use tons of variations of bands. Next, we're going to do TRX chin up. We've been doing these for a while, obviously. Our big thing here is making sure people are still treating this as a 1 rep, like we want to get as strong as possible. So we're down in this bottom position. These right now are a little low, I should probably have a little bit higher, but it's to work for what we're doing here. So here, I'm going to have my eyes looking straight ahead. I'm really aiming towards like the bottom of the wall over there. And then my eyes are looking there. I'm going to pull myself all the way above, squeeze those shoulder blades together, control back down. So I really want people to think about this 1 rep at a time again. I don't want them to get like, I can do tons of them this way. If you can do tons of them, you really should be up there. So we want to try to make sure we just control, up, squeeze. Make it harder, 1 leg. Make it the hardest, both legs. We got to stay vertical though, right? So head through, up, and down from there. The last variation we have, ideally I really want to encourage people to get to at least this, because a lot of the people that come over to the banded pull downs aren't really trying. Now, really the only reason they should ever have to go from here back to the banded pull outs is if they have a major shoulder issue. Most of our clients don't have that serious of a shoulder issue. So we do want to try to keep encouraging, let's get to the TRX chin-ups, let's get to the TRX chin-ups. But if we have to, you go banded lat pull down, your arms straight locked out, touch the hips, control back. So I do want you to be asking them why they're choosing the TRX chin-up. If they're choosing it because it's too, why they're choosing the lat pull down, so they show them because this is too hard, make them come back here and do 1 rep at a time. If they're doing it because their shoulder hurts, then we need to figure out what's really going on with their shoulder, okay? So that's station number 1. Station number 2, remember these are straight sets, so we're going to do all 4 rounds there before we move on to this next one. Station number 2, we're coming over here to the ground. We're going to do single arm floor presses. So we're going to lie down. This is where that unilateral side comes in. We'll focus on 1 side at a time. We take our dumbbell. The cool part about 1 dumbbell, it's a little bit easier to go heavier, to be able to put 1 weight here and grab a hold of that weight, lie down. I always want their feet tucked so we can get that back as flat as possible. When legs are like this, they can get some rounding in their back, so we want to keep the body down here. Abs tight, engage the core, because the core is really involved in unilateral stuff. So we engage our core. From here, we're going to press up to the middle. I do like, on these kind of presses, I do like the dumbbell facing this direction. Instead of being in a neutral position, we're in a prone position, because what it does, it allows this pec to squeeze a little bit more. So control down. We have 25 seconds on this one side. Really trying to challenge how much weight it is. They can bring the weight down. They can just stay down here if they want. They have a 20-second break, and then they'll do the other arm in that position. Everybody will be doing this variation. Unless they have a major shoulder issue. If so, then we're probably going to do like a lying banded pull apart or something of that nature, but we really don't have anybody that has that severe of issues that can't do this. Then from there, we're coming over to the wall. And we have med swell side tosses. So if it's a beautiful day, or even if it's not a beautiful day, it's hot and you need more space, we can use the outside too, okay? So make sure if you do plan on using the outside, that you put cones out there so that somebody doesn't park in that spot, because we do have clients that park over there, so we do want to make sure that we cone it out if we plan on using it. So from here, we're going to grab hold of our medicine ball. The weight can be kind of heavy. Heavy for this one is probably 10 to 12 pounds. I don't think we need to go any heavier than 12 pounds, mainly because the bigger balls on this one don't bounce off the wall very well. So 10s to 12s are pretty good, but some of our ladies hitting 8 pounds is good. 6 might be a little light, but it's okay if you want to try it. So we're going to put this in our hip pocket. We're going to come down into our, twist into it, and pop. Right, control back. If they can get a good rhythm, quick. If not, we want them to actually slow down and make sure it's good reps, so not just. Okay, we want to get that full rotation. Our progression on this one, we don't usually progress this, we're going to progress this one this time, is we're going to take a step into it. So I'm going to take a little bit more, I'm going to lift that leg. See how I had to back away just away from the wall a little bit because that ball is coming off the wall pretty hot. Especially if I have a 12 pounder which has really good rebound, I need to step away from that wall a little bit. So I'm coming back, hip pocket, catch, catch, and that wall, and then obviously each round you'll switch sides on this one. Alright, exercise number 4. So again, if we were outside, we're coming back in. We have Pallof presses. So on a Pallof press, we're going to have red and black bands up here. I actually find for most people, they try to go to black bands right away, and they really haven't even really figured out how to use a red band yet. So I always encourage, make sure you feel it in your core before we get too heavy, because if you get too heavy, then you're using more shoulders. So first position we need to think about is feet starting shoulder width apart, right underneath my shoulders. I'm going to grab with my outside hand, then grab around my inside hand. The only reason I say that, they do it in reverse, it's not that big a deal, but you actually do feel a little bit more tug on the outside when I get this one locked and loaded first. So from here, I'm going to pull it dead center of the body. Here, I got to get my abs as tight as humanly possible. So what we say is actually going to take a punch. Get those abs ready, and now we're just pressing out and in, trying to stay in that perfect line. Okay? My first adjustment, if it's too hard, is feet wider. Okay? Start there. If it's too easy, feet narrow. Then from there, then we start to move ourselves out. Now I move myself out back to that middle position. If I need to adjust, wider, narrow, right? So with these bands, we probably, especially in this position, we probably want to get the closest, maybe a foot away from the edge. We don't want them to get out actually to the edge. That's too much pressure on that band. It's better to get a little bit more resistance. So then you'll see when people get too heavy on the band, you'll see this. So they'll be here, and that band wants to pull them backwards, and they can't keep it straight. So that's kind of how you tell. If that band's pulling them this way, tell them just take a baby step in, and see if they can get that thing going straight ahead. And we're going to do all on one side, and then we'll turn around and do the other side for the next 25 seconds, all right? And the last station we have is going to be a lateral squat. So lateral squats for our clients are really hard. They don't have a great lateral movement, so we have to continue to work on this pattern and get better at it. So I'm going to show the easiest version, or I'm going to show the middle version and work our way backwards from both sides. So the first part is a lateral squat. So I want my feet wider than shoulder width apart as the first position. The wider your feet are, the better lateral squat you'll get. Some people get way too narrow on this. So nice and wide. We're going to sit back into that heel, sitting down, into that foot as low as possible. As much, you're not going to have a vertical chest. You'll probably have a little bit of a lean in the chest. That's fine. You want to sit low, back up, sit on the other side. We're just going to move side to side. So the big thing that you'll see with clients is they'll kind of just be like stretching. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking to sit down, come back out. From there, I actually find adding this press out to make it easier for me because I have the mobility to get there. This guy gives me a little stability, but it is our progression for clients, is as they go down, they press out. Come back up, bring it in. Go back out, press out. They're not gonna get crazy heavy, 10, 15, 25 at most on this one, because it gets pretty hard to extend it out. In this position, we're gonna sit down, into that leg, out, come back in. Our farthest modification would be if somebody's really having some knee issues. I think even some of our people that don't have great knee movement can do that middle variation, but some people that do have major knee issues, we can always do a TR squat, sitting down in that position, here. You could always go with them too, here, in the TR's lateral squat. That's one, okay? All right, we do have a finisher for this program. All right, guys, today's finisher is going to be a new design that we haven't done before. So it's a 6-minute AMRAP broken up into 2-minute circuits. It's a little bit different. So the way it works, we're gonna do 21, 15, 9. So for the very first 2 minutes, you're gonna do 21 reps of 3 different exercises. So you do, so the exercises are gonna be squats, sit-ups, and groiners. So you do 21 squats, 21 sit-ups, 21 groiners. Let's say they get all the way through those inside the first 2 minutes, then they get back up to 21 squats again. So you go through an AMRAP of that rep range, right? 21, 20, 21, back 21, 21. Realistically, most people are only gonna get through the first 2 exercises inside of that first 2 minutes. But if they keep making it through that, you keep on going through that. That 2-minute countdown will come down, and the next 2 minutes will start. You'll say, hey guys, 15 reps of each one. So let's say in this idea, they got through all 21 squats, they got through all 21 sit-ups, and they only got about 3 groiners going on in so far. So when you say 15 reps of each, now they still need to finish up their groiners, but they'll just go to 15 on that. Okay? Then you do 15 squats, 15 sit-ups, 15 groiners. Now they're moving through those. The reason that we're doing this is a lot of people get worn out too quickly on their 21 reps, and then all of a sudden, if we keep that rep range going forward, they'll just get slower and slower. When we reduce that rep range, we can keep that intensity up, and we're trying to keep building that intensity. In the last 2 minutes, so the 2 minutes, 2 minutes, the last 2 minutes will be, all right guys, you have 9 reps of each one, 9 reps of each one. So now they have 9 reps of squats, sit-ups, and groiners, and they'll go through those fast. They'll get a lot more rounds in, but their intensity is probably going to be naturally lower because they're tired, but they can get through like a harder exercise like groiners and put that in and keep that intensity up. So that's the design. Now let's go through the exercises real quick. So the first one we're going to have is a body weight squat. So on a body weight squat, what we're literally trying to do is try to go quickly on this squat position. I'm going to turn this way so they can see me a little bit better. I'm trying to get all vertical chest, sitting down deep and up, right? It's quick. I like to use my arms as counterbalance personally, so I'm trying to go through quick. 2, 3, 4, 21 of those, right? You'll see people squat like this, whatever it takes. But the idea there is we want good quality body weight squats. We do not need to weight this at any time because we're looking for speed throughout this position. From there, modification will be our normal TRX squats with everybody making sure that they're keeping those arms long and sitting down. I think we let people get away with TRX squats too much doing this. And that's really an upper body movement, or they'll actually be like this. We need to let them sit down, right? And really work on that depth. All right, so we'll do 21 of those. Then you have 21 butterfly sit-ups today, okay? So butterfly sit-up, what you do is you actually bring your feet together. The reason we do this is it actually takes the hips out of play a little bit and allows you to make sure it's more of a core exercise. We don't have to worry about hip tightness. So we keep them as close together as we can. From here, we are going to allow momentum today because it is meant for speed. So momentum, I can use my arms a little bit more to throw me up as I come up. Tall chest as we come up through. Every time, regardless, we're always going to get that tall chest coming through. I have 21 reps of those. Modification will be feet in the wall. If I look at my feet in the wall, I'm not going to butterfly probably, because it's kind of hard to do that. But you could butterfly, but most people are probably going to be like this. That's okay. But if you can get a butterfly, that's good too. Coming up and down. So that's our modification for that. The third exercise would be groiners. So we have 3 variations of groiners. We want to challenge them to do the hardest variation. I like my feet more narrow, or my hands more narrow in, my feet wider. So I'm coming up, catch, right? From there, modification would be what we call shallow groiner. Personally, on this one, I actually take my hands a little bit wider, give me a little bit more stability and balance, my feet more narrow. Like that. And the last variation is they're coming up to the bench, and they're going to be on the bench, jumping back, and forth. Big thing on these is make sure you guys know the fitness level of people in your group. A lot of people love to bail themselves out and come here. They can probably do that bottom one. It's going to be hard, but finishers are meant to be hard.